podcast this week presented by BRASH Plus, the hottest content at the highest prices. Now, this week is brought to you by BRASH Plus because we don't have a sponsor and we're doing pick'ems, we're doing recap, we're doing all of it, and a preview of the playoffs for the NFL. We've got a lot packed into this show. So we didn't want to grab a sponsor. We just wanted to go ahead and put it behind the paywall, charge all of our listeners for this one, because it's a big one, Brandon. How you doing tonight, bud?
Jam-packed 19th
Jam-packed.
episode, man. I think we made the right move, just allowing it to be a Brash Plus exclusive rather than try to dig around, find somebody that's willing
Yeah.
to sponsor the episode. No. We didn't have time for that. We had way too we had to consume too much time just to prepare for this jam-packed episode. So
That is correct. That is correct. Well, let's not waste any more time and just get right into our run through.
all right, let's get right into the Week 14 recap. Starting off, I guess in no particular order here, but we'll kick things off with the game that I've already realized I wrote down wrong in my hit list here. My apologies,
Beautiful,
Josh.
beautiful.
But hopefully that's the only hiccup because I know that the Buffalo Bills beat the New York Jets 20-12. And the Jets now have lost back-to-back games for the first time this season, which is quite surprising. Wouldn't have pegged that at the beginning of the year. Now sit at 7-6. Bills, they've won their last 4. They are at 10-3.
Yeah, Bills looking strong once again. The Jets, I mean, Mike White, poor guy, played his fucking heart out, got absolutely annihilated this game. I don't know if you saw some of the hits, but dude,
I did not.
That boy can take a beating because the Bills were up his ass from the fucking get-go. And they were still in it till the end, man. Those Jets, they're fighters. I've got a lot of respect for that team. I hope they can string some wins together in the next 4 weeks because I would love to see them in the playoffs. The Bills of just getting back to business as usual, but still haven't looked super impressive in this little win streak. They're very one-dimensional to me, but yeah, man, that's really it. The Jets losing back-to-back for the first time. If you had told me it would take till week 14 to get there.
Right.
That's a crazy stat. Good for them. I did not know that.
I'm not going to read too much into the score here or the fact that Josh Allen had a difficult time again. Going into this, I expected the Jets to show up. I said I wouldn't be surprised if the Jets pulled it out and got the victory. Turns out they match up very well against this year's Bills, and the Jets defense is legit. So you got to give them their due. But the better team, in my book, came out on top, and they absolutely needed that at home. So good for the Bills. Getting to 10-3. The Cincinnati Bengals, they also picked up a divisional win. They beat the Cleveland Browns 23-10. My headline here is that Deshaun Watson sucks, and the Bengals, they just keep on rolling, man. They are rolling, as Fred Durst would say. Bengals now on a 5-game win streak, and they are now at 9-4. Unbelievable. But, hey, this is the Bengals team I expected the beginning of the year. So it's good to see that they're it looks like they're going to be red hot flying into the playoffs. So watch out for them Bengals and Browns. Let's not even waste any breath on them.
No, you're right. Deshaun Watson, like you can give him 1 week to be like, he's rusty, whatever. 2 bad weeks in a row, and you really got to start questioning why you spent all that money, why all the drama, why all the bullshit that came along with it. But then you realize, it's the Browns. They don't make any good decisions. They're a terrible franchise. They're poorly run. They should probably be kicked out of the league or moved again. And yeah, it's Cincinnati, dude. They're fucking good. They're legit. They are, I mean, the biggest threat to the Chiefs in the AFC by far. And right now, still not leading that division, but will be the way the Ravens are reeling. So watch out for the Bengals, man. I could easily see them going on a run and knocking out some big dogs in the playoffs.
They are tied for the top spot in the division.
They are
So,
tied. They lost to
and they have the
Baltimore earlier this
same.
year.
Technically, they. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Wow. Ravens are 3-0 in the division. So yeah, there you go. But
Yeah.
they have a few more games to be played. So we'll see. We'll see
For
what
sure.
happens. We got our playoff predictions coming up later on.
Don't want to
so
give away too much.
we
Don't want to give
no
away too much on the
spoilers
front
just
end.
yet. The Dallas Cowboys, they squeaked by the Houston Texans 27-23. Texans blew that fourth quarter lead in Dallas. They led the entire game. And then, of course, we all knew it wasn't going to last. They weren't going to be able to keep it up until the final whistle. So Texans lose yet again. Cowboys now have won 4 straight and sit at 10-3.
Yeah, not much to say here except Dallas really got bailed out.
Bailed out.
I didn't see their pass rush. I didn't see a lot of playmaking on offense. Dak did not have a good game. I don't know. It might be looking too deep into it, but I think it was a kind of they were looking ahead. They didn't give the Texans any credit, but Dallas should have lost this game. And that's just something that can't happen if you want to be in the Super Bowl conversation, Dallas. You can't look like shit against the worst team in the NFL. So, not a good look. Not good for the brand, Dallas. And of course, everyone's like, "Oh, it's good." You know, they need some close games. They need some tight games. And oh, well, that just prove their resiliency. I don't care. You just can't look like shit against the worst team in the league. I will have my doubts about you now, moving forward.
Oh, I'm sticking to my prediction that they will lose their first playoff game.
Yeah.
Whenever that is, and whomever it's against. But yeah, you can't be clawing back against the worst team in the league.
At home.
At home. So shame on you, Dallas. I know the Cowboy fans don't care because the way they look at it, a dub's a dub, but we'll see.
Yeah, we shall
see. The Detroit Lions, they completely dominated the Minnesota Vikings in Motor City. 34-23 was your final there. The Vikings now sit at 10-3, and the Lions, they've won 5 of their last 6, and they've surprisingly popped back up in the playoff wildcard conversation, sitting at 6-7. So, what's up with them Lions?
Yeah, what's up with them Lions? What's up with them Vikings? I saw today the Vikings, I think, are the only 10-win team in NFL history to have a negative point differential. So they have 10 wins, but they have not outscored their opponents in totality. Isn't that crazy? So their 3 losses obviously were by big margins. Their 10 wins were by tight margins. That's just a dicey game to play in the NFL. If you want to be a good team, you got to blow people out. Look at the Chiefs. Look at the Eagles. Look at the Bengals. Look at what they're doing. They're not making it close, right? So Vikings, nervous, very nervous. And as a Giants fan, nervous about the Lions because they are proving that, dude, team chemistry, that's their bread and butter. And I feel like the teams just aren't the same now with all the free agent moves and there's no loyalty anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like teams are totally different year in and year out. When we were younger, that was a huge part of the game because people stayed with their team for 10 plus years. Nobody does that anymore. So you kind of forget about the chemistry aspect. Detroit is proving that chemistry is a fucking force in the NFL because they're not the most talented team, but they play their hearts out. And you can tell that all those guys have each other's back in the locker room and all that shit. So I don't know. I'd love to see Detroit go on a run, but I don't want them taking playoff spots from the Giants. So kind of hoping they lose, but it's a great story. If they storm back after I think a 1-6 start and make the playoffs, I mean, that's the headline of the season.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I called the Vikings a fraudulent 8-1 team about a month ago, and
Yeah.
and then they come out, have that amazing game against the Bills, and get the dramatic win. And
Yep.
I was like, "Oh, I stand corrected." How dare I? And of course, since then, they've shown that yes, they're extremely vulnerable, and they don't look like a 10-3 team. So
No, they don't.
we'll see how long they last when they get into the playoffs, because of course they're absolutely winning their division and they will
Yeah.
host a playoff game, but not too
Their
high on
playoff
the
record not
Vikings.
super strong either. So we'll see.
We shall see. The Jacksonville Jaguars, they won against the Tennessee Titans. Well, you and I were in agreement that we thought the Titans were going to win this one. Um, they They whooped the Titans 36-22. Titans are letting the season just slip away at the moment. And Trevor Lawrence, he had a day in Nashville, man. Impressive showing for him. Jags have now won 3 of their last 5. They're at 5-8, and the Titans have lost their last 3 games and have fallen to 7-6. So Titans fans have got to be a little bit concerned.
I would be very concerned, and I think that they're extremely one-dimensional. And even though Derrick Henry had a big day. I think he had like 120 yards and a touchdown. They just can't get anything going through the air. So as soon as it turns into a track meet and your opposing quarterback is throwing for 340 yards or whatever Trevor Lawrence did, they just can't keep up. So not a good sign in today's NFL to just solely rely on defense in a running game, unless your defense is so lights out. But theirs isn't. Theirs is, kind of middle of the road. So you can't just put the whole team on Derrick Henry's back. It'll work some weeks, but most of the time you're going to find yourself in a track meet and have to try and put up points through the air, and it's just not going to work when you have Ryan Tannehill and no wide receivers.
Yeah, Titans trending in the wrong direction with only 4 games remaining in this season. So,
yeah,
see if they're able to rescue it. And that division's still up for grabs. So a lot of things can happen in the next 4 weeks. We'll see.
Technically still up for grabs.
The Philadelphia Eagles, they got the win over the New York Giants. 48-22 is your final here. Eagles absolutely look like the team to beat in the NFL. And the Giants are now in a must-win situation. Giants, Josh, your Giants, they've only won 1 game since October 23rd. Their current record is 7-5-1. Of course, I'm familiar with that because same record as my Redskins. And Eagles are on the fast track to the Super Bowl right now, man. They're at 12-1. It's tough to see a team slowing Jalen Hurts and those Eagles. I absolutely am not going to read too much into that in terms of, how that will, what the commander should expect in these Giants this upcoming Sunday night, because I know what those Eagles are capable of. So I'm just forgetting that happened, moving right along. Everybody in the NFL is going to have a hard time playing the Eagles.
Yeah, the Eagles are very, very good. Still, I mean, you got to have a little backbone, guys. Help me out a little bit. I mean, that game was over in the first quarter.
Mm-hmm.
Like it got ugly fast. And I don't even know what to say about the Giants. They just have really, really sucked. I hope they can find some of the magic that they had early on in the season and figure out a way to just go 500 the last 4 games. Like that might be all you need to do. But it's really hard for me to see them winning right now. They're playing really bad football, making the mistakes that they weren't making earlier in the year. Their defense has become just Swiss cheese. We're banged up, but that's no excuse. Everybody has injuries. So, yes, you shouldn't look too much. Like if Philly blows you out, yeah, don't read too much into it. But this isn't like, whoa, that's weird. I mean, they've been getting their asses kicked for the last few weeks. So, very nervous about my boys. And yeah, Philly, I mean, if they can get through San Francisco, then yeah, they're miles ahead of every other team in the NFC except for San Francisco. And even then, I do think they're better. But we'll
I don't
get to
even remember Tyrod Taylor coming in, dude. I mean, I know I was getting hammered
Yeah,
on Sunday, but
it was at
I
the end. The
guess
game was out of reach.
okay, all right. Because I was like,
Yeah.
wow, the Eagles recorded 7 sacks in that game, but then I saw 3 of them were on Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that was at the end. The game was out of reach. They were like, we better not put Daniel bobblehead
yeah,
8-year-old Jones
yeah, exactly.
in any more danger. So he just went
Leave.
out in the locker room and played some Legos until the rest of the team came back, and sure he'll
All
be
right.
fine.
Baltimore Ravens, they got the win over the Steelers. This is one I got wrong. I thought the Steelers were going to get the win. I predicted it would be a close one, and I said the Steelers would win 19 to 17, but the Ravens got the win 16 to 14. And it was still a 2-point victory. So, I was headed in the right direction a little bit, but just picked the wrong side. The Ravens completely riding J.K. Dobbins to victory on this one. He, on 15 carries, recorded 120 rushing yards and a score. Ravens now move to 9-4, and the Steelers fall to 5-8. All their playoff hopes pretty much dead now after that loss. That they were hoping for a win out, and that's what they needed. I don't think 9 wins is going to get it done this year in the AFC.
Not in the AFC, but they can still keep Mike Tomlin's streak alive of teams finishing 500 or better. So that's something.
Nice.
Yeah. So I think what happened is we jinxed the shit out of Kenny Pickett on this show.
Yep, we're good at that.
Bringing up the fact that he hasn't thrown an interception in 4 games.
Yeah,
because I think he had 3 on Sunday, if I'm not mistaken. So we jinxed the shit out of him. We both picked the Steelers, which is never a good sign when me and you are both. He only had one.
Let's not throw Kenny Pickett under the bus. I believe he got injured because Mitch Trubisky.
Oh, that's right. It was
Mitch Trubisky threw 3 interceptions.
That's what it was. Yeah. It was Mitch Trubisky who threw 3.
Sorry, we really jinxed Kenny Pickett because the guy got injured. So.
I totally forgot Trubisky came in. Well, yeah, there it is. There's your headline. Mitch Trubisky played, and the team lost because he sucks. Yeah, enough said. I mean, but Baltimore, how are you getting 3 interceptions and not blowing a team out? Like, what are you doing? Baltimore, very nervous for you guys. You need to figure it the fuck out.
Yeah, they're just a boring team, but they get wins, and in the end, that's what matters.
They sure do, Brandon.
They are heading in the right direction in terms of getting that wild card spot, or could they win the division? We'll check it out during our playoff predictions. But the Kansas City Chiefs, they got the win over the Denver Broncos. We, of course, picked the Chiefs in this one. I left it out there saying it's a divisional game, and this one, nobody in their right mind would pick the Broncos, so don't be surprised if they pull off the amazing upset. They came close. They gave them a game. 34-28 was your final here, and really, Russell Wilson, man, he had his best performance of the season, but he had to leave due to a concussion. So Chiefs kind of get a little lucky, They got the horseshoe shoved up the ass right now. They moved to 10-3, and the Broncos just can't get anything going. I mean, that would have been a nice boost.
I'm not looking too deep into the score. Kansas City came out, and I think they were up like 24-0 to start the game. So they were dominating. I think they went into half and just kind of took their foot off the gas, and not always a good idea in the NFL because you can let teams back in really quickly. But yeah, I'm shocked Denver put up 28 points when they've been averaging like 11 points a game. So I thought if Denver had a chance, they would have to hold Kansas City to 17 points or something and then kick a field goal to win 20-17, something like that. You never would have seen them putting up 28 points. Good for them. They're still fucked. They're one of 3 teams eliminated from the playoffs, so not a good look for the team that I had picked to win the AFC West. And yeah, Kansas City, they just keep finding ways to win, horseshoe or not. they're a juggernaut.
Yeah, I looked it up. I mean, the score was 27-14 at halftime. So to me, the Broncos were very much alive. All right, that's a 13-point deficit. That's not too bad.
No.
And Russell Wilson, 247 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. I mean, that's very different from the Russell Wilson. You have to believe if Brett Rippon hadn't taken a step in there, they maybe would have made things interesting there at the end. But in the end, the better team, much better team, got the victory and are now 10-3. The San Francisco 49ers, they beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and this one I called perfectly. I said this one would 49ers would stomp a mud hole in the Bucs' ass, and that's exactly what they did. 37-5 or 35-7, if I can get my dyslexia.
37-5.
37-5 was your odd score here. And fucking Brock Purdy outplayed Tom Brady in this one, and it was his first official NFL start. Bucs are who we thought they were. Niners now have won their last 6 games, sit at 9-4, and the Bucs appear to be limping into the playoffs at 6-7. And I say into the playoffs because right now
so fast.
They lead the NFC South. So yes, not so fast. 4 weeks to go, and again, Bucs trending in the wrong direction. So
yeah,
we'll see. We shall see. No thoughts there?
Oh, I mean, I think
if not, then don't worry about it.
No
pressure.
Brock Purdy, good. He looked really sharp. But again, I think that's such a system that quarterbacks can find success in that you don't really need to have a fucking Mahomes to pull out victories, right? They're so loaded on offense and defense that most guys can go in and have a great day, but
that's true.
But I mean, it still takes a lot to win a game in the NFL, and to blow a team out with Tom Brady on the other side. Dude, I'm very impressed by what Brock Purdy did. So
I actually kind of feel bad for Tom Brady now that I look at the box score. He threw the ball 55 times to Purdy's 21. So, the thing is, again, Purdy's just not making any stupid mistakes.
Nope.
So as long as you're doing that, you are keeping your team in position to get the victory, and they got the victory big time in this one. Josh, you called this one. The Carolina Panthers went to Seattle, and they away from home, their first away win of the season. 30-24 was your final there, and the Panthers led the entire game. Seahawks are fading. We need them to continue to fade away. Panthers get their first back-to-back wins of the season, and they now sit at 5-8. And the Hawks, they have lost 3 of their last 2, 7-6. So, Seahawks fans getting a little worried. Panthers fans thinking we got a shot at hosting a playoff game.
They absolutely do, Brandon. I'm bought into this Carolina Panther team right now. I think I won't spoil anything. Actually, I'll wait. But their defense is fucking good. They just needed a somewhat competent quarterback to make some plays. I mean, Baker Mayfield just wasn't throwing the ball downfield, so you didn't stretch the defense out. You were very predictable on offense. I think Matt Rule was a really bad coach. Like, I can't think of the guy's name right now, but the interim guy that they brought in after they fired Matt Rule has been doing a great job just mixing things up. And I think they've been playing like they have nothing to lose because they don't. I mean, everybody had this team written off.
Oh, yeah.
And so they're playing with house money, and that's a dangerous thing when you're a talented team. So good for them. Good for the Panthers. And Seahawks, please keep losing, because the only hope the Giants have is other teams losing.
We'll see. We'll see what happens Sunday Night Football, okay? It could be us, the Commanders, hoping, or the Giants. But speaking of Sunday Night Football, this past week's Sunday night matinee, I always like to call it that.
Yeah.
The Chargers got the victory over the Dolphins 23-17. Where has this Dolphins explosive offense gone? Nobody knows. They are covering milk cartons everywhere. Everyone's wondering, missing, have you seen this offense? Because these last 2 weeks, Miami has not looked too sharp. They just they look like a completely different team. And it's like there's something going on with Tua because he looks like a completely different quarterback. He looks like the guy you thought we were going to see to kick off the season. Miami is now fallen to 8-5. Chargers don't look now, but they are at 7-6, and they're charging right
Whoa.
up the rankings, making
Whoa.
a case for the wild card spot.
Yeah, Tua, man. He completely made me look like an idiot first part of the season, because I had very little faith in him. But now he's kind of looking like that guy, just kind of undersized, underthrowing people, not super mobile. I mean, great leader. I hear him at the podium and he says all the right things, does all the right things. His team is still bought into him from what I can tell. So they got the weapons. I'm not writing them off, but definitely cause for concern the way that they've been losing, because they really they need games to be shootouts
Yeah.
in order to win.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's not, and they can't get that offense going, their defense lets up too many points to really be competitive. So I don't know. A lot of trouble down there in Miami. And the Chargers, man, their schedule coming up, they could make a run here, and they're a dangerous team. They're a team you don't want to face. They're getting healthy at the right time. So scary. Could be scary for the AFC
Yeah,
with a fully healthy Chargers team making a run.
I would love to see the Chargers sneak in. But hey, again, 4 weeks to go. So it's not, we know how back and forth that Chargers team is. I mean, the second you think they're going to get something going, they let you down.
I will get carried away whenever I damn well please, Brandon.
Monday Night Football. This was the make or break for our pick'em tiebreaker, because we were, up to this point we had two differing picks. You picked the Giants. I had picked the Seahawks. So it came down to this one. I had the Patriots. You had the Cardinals. But it's kind of bullshit because, Patriots won 27-13, but Kyler Murray blew out his ACL in the opening drive. The opening was the second play.
I think it was the second play.
Yeah, so it was hard to watch. I mean, a non-contact injury. You just knew when he found like he's out for the season. The Pats did shine though in the desert. They looked shanted. It was then the Colt McCoy led offense moving forward, but still, Colt McCoy, he's had some decent games with the Cardinals. Yeah. It wasn't his first time being thrown in for this offense, so he's familiar. And Pats weren't having it. They never allowed them to get anything going. They remain in the playoff conversation at the moment and currently sit at 7-6.
Yeah, I don't think the Cardinals would have won, even with Kyler. The Patriots surprised me with how well they did on the offensive side of the ball. So I'm not going to sit here and go, well, that's bullshit. Throw that out the window because we didn't have Kyler. Like, yeah, it would have been a different game, but I still don't think the Cardinals would have pulled it out. They're broken. I don't know what's wrong with the Cardinals. I can't figure it out. Colt McCoy is a top backup in the league, in my opinion. He always comes in and does a good job. Patriots defense, man. Go figure.
Yeah.
Bill Belichick defense is really fucking good. And they showed up and they shined, and who knows, they could be making some waves in the playoffs too. A lot of teams in the conversation. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, remember, I wasn't too impressed with the Patriots offense. I think they still looked very flat. They weren't creative. A lot of the same problems that we've seen. I mean, they only scored 20 points on offense. Their defense was responsible for one of those touchdowns.
That's very true.
And Mac Jones didn't throw a touchdown. I'm looking at it now. Ramondre Stevenson, he got injured. So they had to go to Pierre Strong Jr. That's right. PSJ, as they like to call him.
Yeah.
And he off 5 carries, he had 70 yards and a score, so that's not too bad. But again, it's just less than mediocre offense right now in New England, and
Definitely. I mean, their
they can
wide
get a
receivers
win.
are terrible.
They can get a win with the defense alone against the Colt McCoy led Cardinals, but we'll see how they do moving forward, if that's sustainable for more victories.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you might be right.
So with those games, because 6 teams had a bye week, which is absolutely insane, it being the last week for a bye for the NFL. We will, go to our power rankings, see how much things have changed. I honestly don't have last week, so I can't tell you, but I just started fresh and I put together my top 5. So I'll just
Yeah,
go down the line here.
I started fresh too, but I think mine is very similar to last week's with one big change. And I'll just roll right through. I've got Eagles number 1. I
Mm-hmm.
think that they're the consensus. Everybody's number 1 at this point.
Yeah.
They're just going to beat up most teams in the NFL. Number 2, I still have the Chiefs. I'm
Okay.
not too distraught about that loss or the giving up 28 points to Denver and keeping it close. I still think that they are legit. Right behind them, I've got the Bengals because the Bengals are the best team at beating the Chiefs. But on a neutral field, I could still see it going either way. Number 4, I've got the 49ers back in my top 5. Brock Purdy looked great. I have less reservations than I did last week when I pulled them out. And number 5, I've got the Bills because they keep on winning and they're dangerous. And I had to give the old heave ho to those Dallas Cowboys who almost lost at home to
Yeah,
the
you know what?
Texans.
You just reminded me. I don't know why I did have the Cowboys in my 5 spot, but I am absolutely replacing them with the Bills because I don't know what the hell I slipped my mind there. Yeah,
No.
Bills, duh. What the fuck? So I have to kick the Cowboys out because
Yeah,
if they went head to head right
kick them
now,
out.
the Bills would win. So there's the
I think
justification
so.
there. So number
Yeah.
5, I'll go the reverse. Number 5, I have the Bills now kicking out the Cowboys. Thank you, Josh, for reminding me on that one. 4, surprisingly, I had the Chiefs, my former number 1, falling to 4. And a lot of that has to do with these other teams that are just smoking red hot right now, such
Okay.
as my number 3 team, which is the San Francisco 49ers. I understand they have Brock Purdy, but that defense is arguably the best in the NFL. So defense to me always has a chance to beat an elite offense, elite defense beating an elite offense, I should say.
Right.
Number 2, the Cincinnati Bengals. Their defense isn't elite, but their offense absolutely is. If they were in a shootout with the 49ers or the Chiefs or the Bills, I think the Bengals would come out on top, which is why I have them sitting right now at number 2. And of course, number 1, the Philadelphia Eagles. Easy number 1 there,
Yeah.
because they're just hands down on all sides, all 3 units. The Eagles just are better. And it's a
Yep.
bummer to say that. I don't enjoy saying it, but damn it, it's the truth.
No, I love your list. I mean, they're very similar, right? But yeah, the Bengals absolutely have a case to be the number 1 team in the AFC and the number 2 team in the NFL. 100%. Hard to argue. So I like it.
They're clicking right now. So let's
They are.
what we're going to do here is we are going to roll through our week 15 pick'ems because we're doing one episode this week, as we mentioned earlier.
Yep.
And we'll try to speed through those because we want to get to our NFL playoff. What did you call? I call it the outlook, but
I don't
predictions or
preview
preview.
predictions,
I mean, it's not
playoff
necessarily preview
preview.
because we don't know for a fact that these teams will make it, but
Right. I have no idea.
I don't know. We're just having a little fun. We're having a little
Yeah.
fun on Brash Plus. All right. Don't ruin our fun.
Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe.
All right, so let's roll through the pickers. Let's see how many different ones we have here. Should be I'd imagine we probably have a handful different. It's not going to be like last week where we only had 2 or 3. Sorry, that's right. But all right, so let's kick things off with Thursday Night Football. The San Francisco 49ers headed to Seattle to take on the Seahawks, who seem to be falling apart at the seams here. Of course, the 49ers, they're looking great, and they have not been slowed down one bit with the injury to Garoppolo. You're not picking the Seahawks, right?
No, but
you thought about it.
I actually went back. I did think about it because it just feels like one of those times that,
because the
for
short
whatever
week.
reason. Yeah, and I think it's the hungry dog factor.
Like the divisional, it's a divisional matchup.
Know that they need divisional matchup, hungry dog factor. The Seahawks know that they need to start winning games. It's a short week. They're at home. There's a lot of things going in the Seahawks' favor, but I still just can't pick against San Francisco. The way that they're playing versus the way Seattle's playing right now, I got to go with the 49ers.
Yeah, and obviously I went with the 49ers here just because, again, one team is this way and the other one is that way. And at this stage in the season, I have to believe the 49ers will be ready to go for this one. They understand it's a potential trap, but they're not going to fall into it. Plus, we need the Seahawks to continue to lose. We need them to fall to 7-7.
That's the biggest thing.
49ers get against Seattle. Let's move to our 1 o'clock games on Sunday. We'll kick things off with the Indianapolis Colts headed to Minnesota. Colts at 4-8-1, Vikings at 10-3.
Yeah, I forgot the Colts were in the NFL.
Okay, me too.
Until I picked this game because they just came off a bye week. Like, I forgot they existed. Yeah, they're really bad. Minnesota should be fired up. Kirk Cousins at home on a 1 o'clock game. He is usually really good, so I just didn't overthink it, and I picked the Vikings.
Yeah, Vikings. I mean, it would be. It would be devastating. Even though they're 10-3, it would be devastating to the Vikings if they lose to the Colts.
Yeah, absolutely.
They can't have that.
No, they can't.
They'll have the locker room falling apart if that happens. So, especially at home, not going to happen. Give us the Vikings. The Baltimore Ravens headed to Cleveland, take on the former Baltimore Ravens and the Browns. Ravens, of course, at 9-4, as we talked about earlier. Browns are poo-poo Brown at 5-8.
They are poo-poo Brown.
They're poo-poo Brown right now. They're poo-poo Browns.
They are poo-poo Browns.
Do you see the poo-poo Browns having a chance in this one, Josh?
I'm picking the Browns.
All right.
Again, I think that there's a little bit of embarrassment factor. The Browns know, like, dude, 2 weeks with Watson and we've looked like shit. We got to turn it around. The Ravens have barely been beating people, and I know they've got a backup and a lot of injuries and all those things, but still, going on the road, division games are tough, and the Browns have played way under their capacity the last few weeks, so I'm taking the home team Browns in this one, and I don't like it.
Okay,
because,
well, no, I don't hate it. And let me correct myself real quick. This is the 1 o'clock slate for Saturday. So the Colts and Vikings play Saturday.
You're right.
And the Ravens and Browns play 4:30 on Saturday. So
you're right.
With that said, I'm going with the Ravens getting the win against the Browns. And the main reason here, it's going to be another low scoring, boring game. Yep. Let's see what, just for shits and giggles, the Browns are actually, this is where, you might be on to something, because Vegas, they know shit. The Browns are favored by 3 points right now.
Are they really?
Yeah. So, I mean, here we go again. It's kind of like the Lions favored over the Vikings, right? But, I'm going with the Ravens, man, because they're going to find a way to squeak by in the end in a very sloppy, boring game in Cleveland. And Ravens they're good against their divisional opponents. We mentioned it before. They're 3-0 in the division. So, yeah, I'm going with the Ravens. So there we go. We finally differ. Kick
I
things
need to
off
look
here.
up how Kirk Cousins plays on Saturday now that I know this. Forgot it was a Saturday game. Fuck.
The
right.
three NFL games he's had on Saturday. How does he do? Our final Saturday game, the Saturday Night Football. Wonder what channel that's going to be on. That's interesting. The Miami Dolphins are headed to Buffalo. The 8-5 Dolphins, that is, to take on the 10-3 Bills. And man, I've been pretty boring in my pick so far, going with all the the popular favorites, not necessarily Vegas favorites. And I picked the Bills here. I don't know, man. I don't know what to make of these Dolphins right now. It looks like something's missing there, and they're not getting Jeff Wilson Jr. the ball anymore, and that might have a lot to do with them, not moving the ball because they're forcing the pass, not focused on the run. They really want to get this Raheem Mostert guy involved, and if he's not cutting it, just give it back to Jeff Wilson Jr., okay? Things were going good there.
Gee, Brandon, do you have him in fantasy?
I do, but he's not starting anymore. I got the Bills winning, but I really just have the Bills winning because right now I think they're just a much better team. And again, It's all about the trends, Josh. All about the trends. So give me the Bills to go to 11-3 on Saturday night.
Yeah, I think the Bills are also kind of pissed. Like, I think it was week 3, the Dolphins played Buffalo in Miami, and everybody was so high on the Bills because they were just blowing people out. And that's when you kind of started looking at Miami going, wow, is this team legit? But that pissed the Bills off, and they're going to be playing very angry. Dolphins on a short week, coming back from across the country and then shipping out up to New York when it's a team that's really not designed for cold weather. This could be a blowout by the Bills. I don't know what the line is, but I would take the Bills to cover. I think that it's going to be an ugly game for the Vikings.
Bills currently favored by 7 at the moment.
That's a little higher than I thought it would be, but I'd still take it.
Did you say Vikings or Dolphins? Am I just hearing things? I'm tired. I don't know.
I'm tired too. I could have easily said Vikings.
Whatever. Who cares? That does it for the Saturday games. Let's get into our Sunday 1 o'clock kickoff. Again, just going by ESPN Pick'ems here, and that's the order I'm going in. So we'll go to the Atlanta Falcons, go and take on the Saints in New Orleans. Falcons at 5-8, Saints at 4-9. Popular pick going in the Saints' direction. Desmond Ritter's first start with the Falcons, rookie quarterback from Cincy. I'm, of course, going with the Falcons, man. You know me. I was really excited to see Desmond play all season. I was hoping we would have drafted him in this past draft, but I'm fired up, man. I can't wait to see what he brings to the table, and I think he's going to get a win in his first start against the Saints.
Dude, I love the enthusiasm, but playing this defense in that environment is going to be very tough for any rookie. So I'm going with the Saints.
Okay.
But I hope Desmond Ridder comes and balls out, man. I love seeing a young, hot shot, upstart rookie coming into the league fired up. So it's just a tough place. That's just a tough place to go play.
No, I get you. I hear you.
Yeah, I gotta go with the Saints.
Saints currently favored by 4 in that one. The Philadelphia Eagles headed to Chicago to take on the 3-10 Chicago Bears. Any chance of a big upset here, Josh?
No.
Okay. Eagles favored by 9. We're both picking the Eagles there. Not much to break down. I'm sorry.
I like the Eagles, and lay the points too, man. They're going to win by 20.
Yep, absolutely. That was easy. The Detroit Lions headed to New Jersey to take on the Jets. Lions at 6-7, Jets at 7-6. Popular pick right now is with the Lions, and the line is even at the moment. Man, this one again, it's tough. Where did you go with this one?
I'm flying high with the New York Jets this weekend.
Wow.
I think it's a high-scoring game. I think it's just going to be a shootout. You've got the worst defense in the league for Detroit, and then you've got a banged-up offensive line. So I think Mike White's going to be kind of running around making plays. They got a lot of weapons. They got really good defense too, but I think with all that said, it's going to be like a 30-27 type game, close game, but the Jets come out on top. They edged out, and Mike White just continues to impress and make Zach Wilson look like a MILF-hunting piece of shit.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I thought you were going to go with the Lions there, but I'm going with the Jets also. I think their defense is legit, as I mentioned earlier, and I think they're going to be fired up, probably feeling like they let one slip away last week against the Bills, so they're going to want to make up for that and get the win against the Lions in front of their home crowd.
That could be the game of the week, by the way.
It could be, absolutely, yeah.
It's going to be a really good game.
Pittsburgh Steelers are headed to Carolina to take on the Panthers. Both these teams currently sitting at 5-8. Popular pick, 50-50 at the moment. The line is in the favor of the Panthers. Panthers favored by 3 points. And I mean, you know, I don't know, man. I guess I'll kick things off here. I went with the Panthers. The edge here is the fact they're at home. And that's pretty much it. And you know, I think they're just that win over Seattle, I think, is a momentum boost for them. And the Steelers just really let me down. I really thought they were going to be able to string some wins together and get a victory over the Baltimore Ravens, but they couldn't seem to get anything going. And now with Bitch Trubisky back, I absolutely think they're going to lose yet again, and this time to the Panthers. So give me the Panthers.
Yeah, Panthers defense is going to have a big day. They love playing at home, and the Steelers right now love turning the ball over. So could be a real ugly game because, again, you still have Sam Darnold on the other side of the ball. It's not like you're playing a great quarterback anyway, but I like the Panthers run game. Steelers defense isn't that iron curtain that I thought it would be to shut down the season with Watt coming back. And I love Carolina to win. I think they're going to make some big splashes here.
All right, both in agreement there with the Panthers getting the win over the Steelers. The Dallas Cowboys headed to Jacksonville, take on the Jags, who are coming off of that surprisingly big victory over the Titans last week. Cowboys at 10-3, Jags at 5-8. 90% of ESPN users are going and picking the Cowboys. Surprise, surprise. Cowboys favored by 4 points. What do you got here, Josh?
Cowboys. I think they bounce back. Yeah,
Me too.
I think they bounce back, and I think the Jaguars, they flew pretty high last week. It's a long way to come down, and I think they come down pretty hard and crash. So it's a big bounce back spot for Dallas, even though they got the win last week.
All right, this one we should set aside 30 minutes to break down this next one. The Kansas City Chiefs headed to Houston, take on the Texans. Chiefs.
Yeah, Chiefs.
Well, I just want to know real quick what the line is here. The Chiefs by 14 at the moment.
I saw 14 earlier this week. There's still a lot of points to lay. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't touch the Dallas line. I'm not touching this one. You never know in the NFL, but the Chiefs are gonna win.
Yeah, Chiefs. Arizona Cardinals headed to Denver to take on the Broncos. Cardinals 4-9, Broncos 3-10. And right now favored by 3 points. Where are you going in this one, Josh?
Denver. I cannot pick the Cardinals ever again.
Yeah, I couldn't, dude, both these teams are dirt. And the
very
Broncos do have a good defense. The Broncos are at home, but I told myself a while ago I will never pick the Broncos again. And for that reason alone, I got Colt McCoy and the Cardinals
Love
getting the
that.
win against the Broncos. And there's no guarantee Russell Wilson will be in
Love that.
either. So there we
Hey,
go.
that might be a good thing, honestly. The way he's been playing, he's bad. So I like Denver's defense and the home field advantage. That's what pushed me over the edge.
Okay. All right. New England Patriots headed to Vegas. They're gonna be gambling against the Raiders here. The Pats at 7-6, the Raiders at 5-8. The line on this one is even at the moment. This is a tough one to call. I'll kick it off. I went with the Raiders here, getting the win at home. This would be their 4th home win and the Pats' 4th away loss. So I think Derek Carr and Josh Jacobs and Devontae Adams are just clicking right now, and we're going to see a much better play out of them for the remaining 4 games of this season. So feeling good about the Raiders beating the Pats and beating them comfortably at home.
Wow. I don't know if it's going to be comfortable, but I have the Raiders as well.
Okay.
I don't know. Anytime I see a team that can put up points, I try and picture the Patriots keeping pace with that team, and I just can't do it. And yeah, I think the Raiders just have the firepower to do it. I think they come out, get an early lead, and just make the Patriots throw, and good luck. So yeah, Raiders. Not super confident, but Raiders.
And Raiders have looking at it now, they've won 3 of their last 4 games, so they're again just trending in the right direction. So I really like the Raiders here. The Tennessee, these last 2 games were our 4:00 games on Sunday. The Tennessee Titans, next 4:00 game on Sunday, going to LA to take on the Chargers. LA currently favored by 3 points. Obviously LA coming off of the victory over the Dolphins on Sunday Night Football, and the Titans coming off that embarrassing loss to the Jaguars. They've lost 3 in a row, haven't looked sharp, and there's no reason to pick the Titans, which is why I'm picking the Titans. And a lot of that has to do with also, dude, I want to pick the Chargers. I want the Chargers to win. But this is the game they'll lose, because this is the Chargers team that we get this year. So give me the Titans getting the win away from home and getting to 8-6 in LA.
Dude, you are exactly right. This is the exact type of game that the Chargers would lose. They have everything going for them right now, which is why I'm picking the Chargers.
Right.
I like the Chargers to win here. Tennessee just can't figure it out. You can't just run Derrick Henry and expect to win. Chargers have the weapons. They're getting healthy. I like them to win here.
The last 4:00 game on Sunday is the Cincinnati Bengals taking on the Buccaneers. And the Bengals are favored by 3.5 at the moment. I think that's too low. I think the Bengals are going to beat the living shit out of the sorry-ass Buccaneers. Give me the Bengals winning easily in Tampa.
Yeah, this game is just going to be ugly, I think. The Bengals have everything going right for them. The Bucs have everything going wrong for them. And something I would bet on is Joe Burrow linking up with Giselle while he's in Tampa and having filthy sex with her and then smoking a cigar at Tom Brady's old house.
All right.
That is my lock
Good
of the
take.
week.
All right. Yeah. Good deal. So we're in agreement.
Yeah.
We both have the Bengals getting to 10-4 in Tampa. Sunday Night Football, Josh, on NBC for those who want to tune in. I mean, again, I imagine it'll only be Giants and Redskins fans that want to watch this one. But
we'll be waiting all day.
Both these teams sitting at 7-5-1. Oh, the curse of 7-5-1. You don't even want to know. The popular pick right now, 75% leaning in the Commanders' direction. The spread at the moment, I don't know why ESPN is moving it around on me here, but is at 4.5. at 4.5 for the Redskins. It was at 4.5. Redskins 3-3 at home. Giants 3-2 away. I, of course, am going with the Commanders. I have to, because I can't imagine them losing, because to me, this is a must-win for both of our teams. So I imagine you have the Giants. Is that correct?
I do have the Giants. Don't love it. Again, they are just playing really bad football right now. But I got to go with my boys, got to go with my heart, picking the Giants. But I think if you're just a casual fan, go ahead and flip a coin, because you never know with these two teams. I think Washington is playing a little better right now, and they're coming off a bye, and they're at home. They've got everything going for them. But the Giants are starving for a win. They are starving. So that's going for them. We play better as underdogs. I don't know. It's going to be a really close game. That's the only thing I'd be pretty sure of, is that it's going to be a close game.
It's
and
gonna be close.
weird stuff is going to happen because it's the Giants and Redskins. It's going to be a head scratcher. We're going to break this game down and wonder what the fuck happened.
Mm-hmm.
So I like the Giants. I'm picking the Giants. I'm sorry, I don't like the Giants, but I'm picking the Giants.
Okay.
Going with the heart over the head.
Over under 40.5 on this one. Ooh, I mean,
after a 2020 tie,
yeah,
they didn't think about that line too much. They were like, let's just make it 40.5. I don't know.
I think the last score I picked, during, before our tie, I think I said Commanders 22-20. I'm going back to 22-20. That's going to be the final score here.
Okay. Yeah, this has like a 21-17.
I got the over.
21-20, 24-21 type game. Somewhere in there. High teens, low 20s for both teams.
All right. The Monday Night Football matchup, the LA Rams, led by Hollywood Mayfield, going to Lambeau to take on the Packers. The Rams at 4-9, Packers at 5-8. Rams 1-4 away from LA, Packers at 3-3 at Lambeau. And Packers coming off of a bye week, plenty of rest at home. The lights will be shining bright for Aaron Rodgers, and this is his time to shine. I think he has a stellar day with Christian Watson, Aaron Jones as well. I think the Packers win comfortably. They're currently favored by 7 points, and I like that. I really do. The over-under's at 39.5. I would go over all day on that one, but might be an outlier, but either way, doesn't matter. I got the Packers getting the dub at the end of the day in this one.
Yeah, I think the Packers win comfortably as well. I think that Baker Mayfield is going to show his true colors. The biggest thing he had going for him on Thursday night was that he didn't have time to think about the offense. He was just thrust into the situation. I think that played into his hand. I think he comes back to earth. I think, Aaron Rodgers with a week to prepare, a week to do ayahuasca and chill. He's going to come back and play really well. Take the Packers, lay the points, and take the over, because they're probably putting up 35 on their own.
Well, we have 5 games different this week, so it's not going to come down to the tiebreaker. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I have my headphones.
Okay. What was your total points scored for this one?
I don't have one, but I will go 47.
That's what I picked!
What?
Dude, it never fails.
How does that keep happening?
Oh my, it doesn't matter. Who cares? Because again, it won't come down to that. So we can both have 47, because
that's retarded.
You can't split 5 games unless the Redskins and Giants tie again. So
true.
But if that happens, I quit from pick'ems for the rest of my life. So
I don't think it matters what the score is. In fact, let me just go ahead and lock that in right now. 47.
There you go. I know.
Weird.
I knew you were going to say it, which is why I let you pick first. I was like, he's going to say 47, so
it's going to be.
I'll let him fire away.
35-12. There's my final.
All right, now, Josh, you wanted to go through this playoff prediction, playoff outlook, have a little fun. So let's. I'll let you dictate how this is going to go, and we can put our playoff brackets together almost pretty much. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty straightforward, right? We're just going to look at the teams that are in right now, the teams that are looking in, and then just take a quick glance at the next 4 games to kind of get an idea of who might be in, who might be out.
Okay.
So real quick, in the AFC, we got the 1 seed Bills, 2 seed Chargers, 3 seed Ravens, 4 seed Titans, clinging on at 7-6 by a thread. In the wild card, we've got the Bengals at 9-4 in that 5 spot, Dolphins at 8-5 in the 6 spot, and the Patriots at 7-6 in the 7 spot. So Patriots are in for the moment. On the bubble, we've got the Chargers at 7-6 and the Jets at 7-6, just on the outside. Same record as the Patriots, but the Patriots have the tiebreakers right now. Still technically alive in the AFC. Jacksonville at 5-8, Vegas at 5-8, Cleveland at 5-8, Pittsburgh at 5-8, and Indianapolis at 4-8-1.
Yeah.
Still technically alive, but they're not really. I didn't even look at their schedules for all those still technically alive. And then the eliminated, we've got Houston, obviously, and Denver was officially eliminated last week. So some interesting stories here. I think the Bills are going to drop because their next 4 are pretty tough games. They've got at home against Miami, which I think they win. Then they have to go on the road in Chicago. They probably win that. But then they've got Cincinnati and New England to finish off the season. I think they split those games. So they go 2-2 in those 4 games. Now the Chiefs, you've got at Houston, at home against Seattle, at home against Denver, and then in Vegas. I think they easily win 3 out of those 4 and jump the Bills to take that number 1 spot. In the 3 seed, there's no way the Ravens can hold still or hold that spot with Cincinnati chomping at the bit. They've got at Cleveland, at home against Atlanta, at home against Pittsburgh, but then they have to go and face Cincinnati in Cincinnati, while the Bengals are Tampa Bay, New England, Buffalo, and Baltimore, the 4 teams they face. I think a more manageable schedule. Watch for the Ravens to jump them, take control of that division, and overtake the 3 seed. So for my AFC prediction, I'm thinking it'll be Chiefs in the 1 spot, Bills in the 2 spot, Bengals in the 3 spot, Titans, and then I've got the Chargers making a huge jump because their 4 games are incredibly easy. Well, if you consider Titans easy, which I do right now, they've got Titans at home, then at Indianapolis, then home against the Rams, and then at Denver. I mean, those are 4 extremely winnable games. So I think the Chargers win their next 4, jump into that 5 spot at 11-6. And then in the 6th spot, we've got the Dolphins hanging tight at 10-7, and then the Ravens at 10-7, closing it out in that 7th spot. Do you want to go ahead and run through your AFC before we jump into the NFC?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even think about looking at all the conference records at the end of the day, but surprisingly, I had the Bengals winning out. And okay. I have them taking the number 1 overall spot, in the AFC. I don't think there's going to be a better record than 13-4 in the conference. So I have the Bengals, Bills, Chiefs, and then Bengals, Bills, Chiefs, and then it would be the that's right. It's either going to be the Titans or somebody else in their division. So I do have the Titans getting there at 10-7, but that's by default. I mean, I think that, I don't know. I think they'll be knocked out right away, but yeah, Bengals, Bills, Chiefs, Titans. And then I actually have the Ravens and Dolphins. And I believe it looks like I have the either the Chargers or the Jets sneaking in at 10-7. I don't think the Pats are going to make the playoffs in the wild card spot. I think the Pats are going to lose out in these final 4 games.
Wow, you have them
Yeah.
losing out. So they've got at Vegas, at home against Cincy, at home against the Dolphins, and at Buffalo. That is
Yep.
a tough stretch.
Yeah.
That is a really tough stretch. So, yeah, I'm with you. They could totally lose out. I have them missing the playoffs as well.
So I guess it would be Chargers. Chargers would be taking that spot because they would have a better conference record than the Jets. So Chargers sneak in. Look at that.
All right, so we've both got the Chargers in. I like that. Jumping over to the NFC, we got the number 1 seed Eagles, which, fun fact, are the only team in the NFL to clinch a playoff spot, which I thought was kind of crazy. Normally, you have teams clinching at this point. You don't necessarily know where they're going to fall or divisions tied up, whatever, but you know who's clinched. Eagles are the only team. That's pretty crazy to me, but 12-1. Then you got the Vikings at the 2 spot, 49ers at the 3 spot, and Buccaneers clinging to that 4 spot. In the wild card, you've got the Cowboys at 10-3. Then you've got the Redskins and Giants at 6-7, both tied for 7-5-1, which is why that Sunday night game is so important. On the bubble, we've got Seattle at 7-6, the Lions at 6-7, and then still very much alive because their division is trash. You've got the Panthers at 5-8 and the Falcons at 5-8, who are only 1 game back from making the playoffs, which is just remarkable. So, Brandon, after looking at the next 4 for these teams, do you have any surprises? I'll let you lead this one off.
Well, yeah, absolutely have surprises. I mean, my top 3 seeds are going to remain the same in the Eagles, the Vikings, and the 49ers. And I think I have the Eagles getting 14 wins, the Vikings at 13, and the 49ers finishing with 12. But when it comes to that 4th spot in terms of who wins the NFC South, I know, man, I'm fucking crazy. I'm a maniac. I got the Bucks going 1-3 in their last, and I got the Panthers going 2-2, but I got the Falcons winning out and going to 9-8 and winning the NFC South out of fucking nowhere and getting that 4th spot. Then, of course, it's all closed out by the Cowboys, the Redskins, and the Giants still get in at 9-7-1. I think the Giants are still going to lose a couple games, but that 9-7, that tie is going to save them and keep them in the playoffs. So I have all NFC East teams still making it.
Yeah, buddy, I like that. We have the same exact playoff picture in the NFC, except
I know what it is.
It's the Carolina Panthers are gonna win that division. They already have the tiebreaker over the Bucks. I don't think that the Falcons with a rookie quarterback win 4 in a row. That would be absolutely astonishing. I would be floored if that happens. But if you look at their schedule, the next 4 at New Orleans, I know I have New Orleans to win, but that's winnable. Then at Baltimore, they've been shaky at best. Then at home against Arizona, that's super winnable. And then all you have to do is beat Tampa Bay to seal it up. It's not too crazy, but it's still fucking crazy. I love that.
And it's crazy because we haven't even seen Desmond Ridder play in the NFL yet.
Not
so
a snap,
I'm super high on this guy. He could be complete dog shit, but you heard it here first, okay? Desmond Ridder saves the day, wins them the division, comes out, and everyone's going to be on the Desmond Ridder bandwagon, and then they're going to come back down to earth and lose in the playoffs. But it's going to be a fun ride. It's going to be a fun ride.
Hold that thought, because regardless of who wins, it's almost certain that the team that they're playing is going to be the Dallas Cowboys at home. So,
well, there you go. Shit.
Yeah,
Keeps
dude.
Getting better. All right.
I think that whoever wins that division is going to get a game against the Cowboys in the playoffs. That's almost cheating. The other thing I love, because my playoff picture, everybody's in the same spot as well. If the Giants hang on to that 7 spot, they get to play the Vikings in a playoff game, and the Vikings are terrible in the playoffs. Kirk Cousins sucks in the playoffs, so I love that. I'd much rather be in that 7 spot,
Yep.
play the Vikings, than be in the 6 spot and having to go to San Francisco.
Yeah, that's where I have
So
us. That's a bummer.
yeah, so I think those are you want that 5 seed and you want that 7 seed, because you want the Vikings or the winner of the NFC South. Um, but yeah, pretty much we're spot on for the NFC side of things. I just don't think the Lions. 3 of their last 4 games are on the road. Um, they've got a tricky schedule, and the Seahawks have just been reeling. They've got it, and they've to go to San Francisco next. They've got Kansas City, then they've got the Jets. They close up with the Rams, which should be a win, but you got to imagine they're losing 2 out of those 3 games,
Mm-hmm.
right? So 9-6 is just not gonna, or 9-8 is just not going to get it done when you have teams at 9-7-1 ahead of you.
Well, if the Commanders if they make it to the playoffs and they have to go to San Francisco, it would actually be the second time, like in less than 2 months that they've traveled to San Francisco to play the 49ers. So I have
Okay.
them losing against the 49ers coming up, not this Saturday, but next Saturday. So who knows? Maybe there'd be a little bit of a revenge game, and they would understand a little bit more about the 49ers playbook and actually have a chance. But no, man, I
Yeah.
mean, I really like the I guess the biggest difference for us is just that you have the Panthers, I got the Falcons. None of us were completely out on the Bucks,
We're out on the Bucks. I just can't see
and then we're
them.
out on the Pats, and we both have the Chargers getting in.
Correct. Yeah. The Chargers' schedule over the next 4 games is just a cakewalk. So Patriots have to go to Vegas, then Cincinnati, then Miami, then Buffalo. That's
So,
brutal, man.
and then we have the Ravens and Dolphins making it, or you have the Ravens out.
I have the Ravens in. I
Okay.
have
All right. So
yeah,
Ravens, Dolphins, and
but
Chargers.
I have the Chargers winning out. So I have the Chargers at 11-6, taking that 5 spot.
Oh,
And
okay. All right.
then Dolphins, then Ravens. And
Gotcha.
that would mean the Chargers would play the Titans, which they're doing this week. That could be a revenge game also. Then it would be a Dolphins Bengals matchup, which would be fucking sick. And then the Bills would just annihilate the Ravens at home.
Nice. Well,
There it is.
we'll look back on this and we'll see. Oh my God, it's going to be a complete disaster. But hey, it was
Oh
fun. It was
man,
fun.
what I would love to do, I wish I had done this, was pull up my because we did preseason playoff predictions.
Oh my
I'd
God,
love to
let's
see
not
what that
even.
looks like.
No, we'll do that later. We'll do that
That's where I
right
had,
before the playoffs start.
yeah, right before the playoffs, we'll bust that
We'll
list
laugh
out.
at ourselves. Yeah.
Where I had the Bengals missing, I had the Raven or the Broncos winning the West. I think I had him in the number 1 overall seed also, which is just embarrassing. No, I had Bills number 1 seed, but still, just embarrassing. Anyway.
Well, let's see how it all unfolds.
Yeah.
This is it, man. This is our last episode before the most stressful game of the season for both of us. So good luck to you, my friend. It's not going to be easy to watch for either of us, and I'm sure there'll be spurts where I'm blaming the officials. You just get ready.
Yep.
I'm going to
That's
be
gonna
bitching
happen. Yep.
any flag. It doesn't matter if it's a blatant hold.
It's totally justified.
I'm blaming the refs. So I just hope, as ugly as the game might end up being, we can come out on top. But we'll see. We'll see. I mean, really, according to our predictions, 9-7-1. That might still be good enough to get us both in. So
9-7-1
we'll see.
gets the job done.
All right, buddy. Well, yeah, I guess we'll get ready for that game, and then next week's episode is going to be our Christmas episode. So first ever in Brash history. So
Wow, that's right.
Get that Christmas sweater ready.
All right, buddy.
All right, man.
Well, I will chat with you later, man. Everyone,
Sounds
thank you
good.
so much for subscribing to Brash Plus and giving us your money for the hottest
Sorry
content
we're
at
robbing
the
you
highest
blind.
prices. Sorry for robbing you blind. Hope it's worth the $17.99 that we just jacked the price up to.
If you go against our picks, they'll make money. So
That's true.
that's the bonus. That's the bonus.
If Brandon and I pick the same team, hammer the money line.
Mhm.
Hammer the opposite money line. Hammer it.
Do it. All right. Later, brother.
Peace.
Peace.